Alright, so this will be the part one of the Chrysler build series. It has the 5.7 Hemi in it. It's a 2011 300C. It has about 109,000-ish miles on it. It's developed a tick, a pretty awful tick, so we're going to tear it down. I went ahead and bought a stage 2 cam from SDPC, the high volume oil pump and all that. I'll walk you through all the steps, or all the parts as we get to it. It'll be part 2, hopefully. This series, I'm trying to do it from the complete build. So it'll be from point A, tear down all the way to Z, and I'm gonna attempt to tune this car myself too. We'll see how that goes. I've messed around with HB tuners for a little bit now. I've never actually tuned a complete car yet. I've had a GTO that I messed around with. I had a Dakota RT that I messed around with, but this will be my first legit tunes that I'm loading onto a car, messing with the timing and all the base fuel maps and stuff like that. So eventually we'll get to that, but right now this will just be the build series, more or less cam swapping the car, cleaning out all the junk that was left from the load wipe on the OEM cam. But I'll go walk you outside and we'll see the car real quick and we'll get right into it. So this is the car. It was a little more than a tick too. I didn't mention that in the previous video. It ain't a knock, but it's pretty bad sounding, so I'm hoping, like I said before, it's just in the top end. We can get this thing thrown back together without an engine, but it's a pretty nice car overall. I already taken the valve covers off of it, so you guys don't get to see that, unfortunately, but it's just 8mm bolts around the perimeter and then 10 mils on the coils holding it on, and I did that to crank it over, and pretty sure it's number 5 cylinder back here, but this one right here is just not, it don't have much travel to it, so that one's definitely gonna be a problem. That's the only one we've seen, so hopefully that's the only problem it has, but we'll start tearing it down. Take this wiring harness off and unplug it there, and down here off this compressor, and we'll get the intake taken off. All right, so the first thing I did was remove the 10 8mm bolts holding the intake down. Then I removed the fuel line, just squeeze the blue tabs together and pull it apart. And there's an electrical plug at the back left, you'll see, and I'm plugging it now. Unplug it. There's a wiring harness that runs along the back side of the intake. Has, I think it's 2 clips that holds into the back side of the intake. Pop them out. After that, unplug the vacuum line that runs up to the throttle body. Just unplug it and set it out of your way. So I thought I was done here, but there's a PCV hose on the back side of the intake. Squeeze clamp, squeeze it. Mine was stuck, so I had to twist with a pair of pliers, but once it's off, you're good to go. So actually, the next thing I'm gonna take off is them solenoids there, and it looks like they're 10 mils. I've seen a trick where if you hit them down and then twist them, they'll come right out, so hopefully these ones do. I'm gonna try to just take the head off without disassembling it any farther too, so we can get the head off and take a look at the lifters. So. All right, so all I'm doing here is removing the 10mm bolts holding the MDS solenoids down. The trick to smacking them on the head with a hammer first to break the seal the O-ring has is definitely the way to go. I got in a hurry with a pry bar here in the very first one. Instead of grabbing it with a pair of pliers and twisting and pulling it up out of there evenly, I broke it in half, so you'll see me deal with that here later on in the video, but the rest of them came out fine using the pliers, twisting and pulling up evenly. There I am trying to get it out. After that, you can go ahead and move on to the rocker shafts. You want to turn them about a quarter turn of the time until you start getting a gap between them, and then you can spin them all the way out. You want to make sure when you take all this stuff out, if you're going to be reusing your push rods and everything, you want to make sure they all go back the same way they came apart. So unless your new cam didn't come with new ones, you want to make sure you're putting everything back how it came apart. All right, we're going to get this tensioner off here, just 3/8, and then let me see. This. Ooh, not that. This right here. O2 sensor. Find out where it goes. I think that's what's attached on the back of the head. And then I gotta jack it up, which this is not very high off the ground, so it's gonna be fun getting underneath of, and it's raining and 35 degrees outside, so it's pretty cold. But that coupler, it's right there. So it won't be that bad. I'll put some extensions on my impact and wobble, and should be able to get that to come off pretty easy. So. All right, so we're all jacked up now. Belt's off. Oh, I still need to take that coolant pipe off there. Everything's unplugged. We got jack stands under it. All right, so we got those out. The top one had to use this U-joint plus a wobble. We're gonna lower the car back down so it's easier to, lift the heads off when it's time. But both sides are done, so now we just gotta take the head bolts out of this side, and this side's ready to drop. And like I said, same process on that side. So I'll just show you guys removing the heads on that side and get to it, and hopefully have these heads off here soon. We're gonna assess the damage and see what parts we need to order. Pretty sure the bolt back here is gonna be 10 mil. It's be a nut, and you'll pull this off, and then it should be a 10 mil stud, more or less. I'll probably go to remove that one just so I can kind of swing it out of my way. You want to pull all these bolts out first. You don't want them to be holding the head down. They're just 10 mils. And then for the head bolts, you're going to want to do the same process we did on the rocker arm shafts. So you're going to do this bolt, and then the bottom one, and this one, that one, jump over here, then two, and then do the outsides, and just keep doing that in about 1/8 to 1/4 inch turn increments until you get them loose enough that you can spin them out by hand, spin them all the way out, take them out, and then the head can come off. All the bolts are loosened up, so we're spin them out now. Get this head off here. I'm actually still stuck on the manifold. Did not release. All right, we're back. So got all the water out of the cylinders. I'll have to do a little better cleaning. I need to spray these down too before I get down here today and order the little parts. All the cylinder walls look really good. All right, well, I thought I was recording on the other side, but all the lifters came out clean on that side. There ain't nothing bad, so we're gonna get the rockers and stuff pulled off this side. Like I said, it's the same process. All the cross hatching and stuff still look real good. Still see the cross hatching in the cylinders. So I think we'll be good to go. There ain't no marks or nothing on the piston tops. That back one's dirty, but that's the one that wasn't firing right because of the lifter, so we'll clean it up. Get it all cleaned up. We'll go inside here. Okay, so real quick before we end this video here, this will be the end of part one. I want to show you these lifters real quick and how they're held in the motor. So this would sit in here like this. This goes over top of your lifters. You can see it's Has flat sides on it. Stops the lifters from spinning in there. But they'll sit in there just like that. The back four, and then you'll have the front four. That's an 8mm bolt. Just pull it out and they'll pull right out of their spot. That's the bad one. See, it's flat on top. The roller quit spinning, you know, it starts chewing up the cam. Like I said before, this one, it sounded pretty nasty, so they drove on it for a while. But I think the noise that we were hearing, because it was a lot more than the usual Hemi tick is it started eating into the side, the body of the lifter here. And I think whenever it started chewing on that, that's when they actually started realizing something was wrong. But, I mean, they'll all get replaced, so. All right, appreciate you guys watching the video on this build series. Part 2 will be the rest of the teardown, part cleanup, and walking through the parts that I ordered, and you know what parts you'll need, and more or less the cheapest place to get these, because I shopped around for a good 2 to 4 hours looking for all these parts on the cheapest I can possibly get them. But at the same time, still buying the quality parts. So stick around for part 2, and see you there.